You don't get special treatment here." The words hit like turbulence. The flight attendant's grin doesn't fade as she tilts the plastic bottle, letting one cold drop fall to the floor, right at the black mother's feet. The baby in her arms lets out a thin, broken cry. The sound slices through the hum of engines. "I just asked for water," the mother says softly, her voice trembling but steady enough to be heard. "You asked rudely?" the attendant snaps. "And it's not my job to babysit." A few heads turn. A man in business class lowers his newspaper. A teenage girl stops her music. The mother presses her lips together. Her baby's small hand curls against her chest. "Please, he's been crying for 20 minutes. The attendant snatches the empty cup from the tray. "You should have thought of that before you boarded." Then, without warning, she shoves the tray back hard enough to jolt the baby. Gasps ripple through the cabin. The mother freezes. Her eyes glisten, but she doesn't move. Her hand steadies the cup that never arrived. The apple she packed for her child rolls down the aisle, bumping against a man's shoe. He looks away. Everyone looks away. "Ma'am, you're disturbing other passengers," the attendant says louder this time, just to make sure everyone hears. The baby's cry builds, higher, desperate, helpless. The mother rocks him gently, whispering something only he can hear. A boy across the aisle tugs his father's sleeve. "Dad, why's she being mean?" The father whispers back, "Stay out of it, son." The boy looks at the mother, the woman holding her baby like a shield, and guilt plants itself quietly in his chest. The attendant adjusts her scarf, her confidence blooming in the silence. "Next time," she says, "fly with a company that serves your kind." The mother's hand tightens. No one breathes. For a second, even the engines seem quieter, like the plane itself is ashamed. The woman doesn't shout, doesn't defend herself. She simply looks up, meeting the attendant's eyes, and says in a voice that doesn't tremble anymore, "Thank you for reminding me who really needs service." The attendant blinks, momentarily thrown off by the calm. But she quickly recovers, tossing a fake smile. "I'll make a note for the captain about your attitude." She walks off, leaving the aisle thick with tension. The mother exhales, slow, controlled. Her baby quiets. Her gaze drifts to the reflection in the window, her own face, tired but unbroken. Somewhere in that reflection a spark begins, not of anger but of memory. Something she's seen before, in courtrooms, in headlines, in protests. A passenger 3 rows back pulls out his phone. Another follows. No one's sure why they're recording. Guilt, maybe. Or instinct. But something tells them this moment isn't ending here. The plane vibrates slightly, shuddering through metal and air. Above the clouds, a storm begins to form. Unseen, but inevitable. And down the aisle, the apple rolls again, stopping this time at the flight attendant's heel. She doesn't notice, but the mother does. Her fingers trace the baby's curls as she whispers, "Don't worry, my love. They'll remember this flight." The hum of the engines fills the silence left behind. No one moves. No one speaks. Rows of faces pretend to sleep, to read, to scroll. Anything but look at the woman in seat 17C. The baby's soft whimper cuts through again, and the mother rocks him, her hand trembling just enough to betray the calm on her face. A bead of sweat slides down her temple. She wipes it quickly, as if hiding weakness from a jury. The flight attendant strolls past again, tray in hand, offering drinks to everyone but her. "Would you like juice, sir?" "Champagne, ma'am." Her tone was suddenly sweet. Her smile is performative. It drips venom wrapped in professionalism. A few passengers exchange glances. One woman whispers, "Shouldn't someone say something?" Her husband mutters back, "Don't get involved. You'll just make it worse." The mother's eyes flicker to the aisle. A momentary plea that dies before it reaches her lips. She's been here before. Different walls, same silence. The silence that says, "We see you, but we'll pretend we don't." From the back, a child's voice breaks through. "Why didn't she give the lady water?" The words hang in the air like turbulence no one can brace for. Heads turn. The attendant stops mid-step, caught between authority and shame. She forces a laugh. "Sweetheart, sometimes grown-ups misbehave." The child frowns. You did? The mother's lips curve slightly, not a smile, a quiet acknowledgement that truth doesn't always need volume. A businessman clears his throat, pretending to cough. A teenager starts recording, the phone low by her lap. The attendant catches the lens and sneers. No filming on this flight. But it's too late. One clip has already captured her cruelty. The mother adjusts her baby's blanket, whispering, "Just sleep, baby. We'll land soon." Her words sound calm, but her pulse beats fast beneath her wrist. Every second drips heavier than the last. The intercom crackles, the captain's voice, distant and calm. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting mild turbulence ahead. Please stay seated." The timing feels cruelly precise. The attendant walks by again, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Ma'am, you've been reported for disturbing passengers. Please cooperate when we land." Gasps ripple again. The mother blinks in disbelief. "Reported? For asking for water?" Her tone is calm, but her voice shakes just slightly at the end. That single quiver makes everyone look, really look, for the first time. The man with the newspaper lowers it completely. "Excuse me," he says carefully. "I was right here." She didn't do anything. The attendant turns sharp eyes on him. "Sir, I appreciate your concern, but please don't interfere." He opens his mouth, then closes it. Fear of conflict wins. The mother watches his retreat, her jaw tightening. The taste of injustice is familiar, metallic, cold, and lonely. The baby shifts, his tiny hand grasping her necklace, pulling gently. She looks down, whispers, "It's okay, little one. Some storms look like people." Another murmur moves through the cabin, quiet, nervous. One woman stands, hesitates, then sits again when the attendant glares. Cowardice spreads like fog, invisible but everywhere. Only the sound of the engines remains, steady and indifferent. The plane moves forward, but every soul inside feels suspended, trapped between guilt and gravity. And just when silence seems to win again, a chime rings from the intercom, not turbulence this time, but an unexpected announcement. "Could the passenger in seat 17C please stay after landing for a brief report?" Her eyes close. 12 minutes left until they land. 12 minutes, that will change everything. The seatbelt sign blinks on. No one moves. The air feels heavier now, like judgment itself is circling above them. The flight attendant stands tall at the front, tapping on her earpiece, pretending she's busy. But her glance keeps darting back to 17C, sharp, possessive, like she owns the aisle. The mother sits still, her baby asleep against her shoulder. The crying has stopped, but silence is no mercy. It's the kind that trembles, waiting to break. "Ma'am," the attendant calls out, voice firm. "You've been warned twice already. I'll have to notify the captain." The mother turns her head slowly. "Warned for what?" "For creating disturbance." A few passengers exchange uneasy glances. The businessman who'd spoken before clenches his jaw but says nothing this time. His courage evaporates somewhere between reason and fear of inconvenience. "I didn't raise my voice," the mother says. "I asked for water for my child." "That's not a disturbance." The attendant folds her arms, smirking. "That's your version of events." Her words hit harder than any slap, drenched in arrogance and entitlement. Suddenly, a voice from behind. "Actually," a woman says, holding up her phone, "that's everyone's version now." The phone's red recording light glows like a warning. A hush spreads. The attendant freezes, the smile faltering for a blink too long. Then she leans closer to the woman. "Recording's illegal on this flight." The passenger's tone is cool. "So is discrimination." The baby stirs, sensing the charge in the air. The mother hums softly to calm him. Every eye is on her now, sympathy mixed with guilt, fascination, and fear. Some records. Some look away. Some silently pray not to be asked where they stand. The intercom crackles. The captain's calm, professional tone fills the silence. "This is your captain speaking. We've been informed of a disturbance in the cabin. Security will assist upon landing. Please remain seated." The mother's heart sinks. Security. That single word, always the weapon of the powerful. The passengers murmur, tension rippling like waves. A man near the exit shakes his head. She didn't do anything. Are we really doing this? Another replies, don't get involved. Just let it play out. The mother looks around, faces she'll never forget. Each one reflecting the same cowardly neutrality she's seen her whole life. Then she turns back to the attendant and says, almost whispering, I hope your uniform protects you better than your conscience. The attendant stiffens. Her jaw tightens. You people always make everything about race. The words slice the last thread of calm left in the air. The plane feels smaller now, claustrophobic, morally compressed. Someone coughs. Someone gasps. And the mother just stares at her, unflinching. You made it about race when you chose who gets water. The baby shifts again, his tiny fingers brushing her cheek, a silent reminder of why she won't let this break her. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't cry. She just breathes, slow and deliberate, reclaiming the control the attendant thought she'd stolen. The teenage girl filming wipes her tears. She didn't deserve that, she whispers. And for the first time, someone agrees out loud. Yeah, another passenger adds, louder this time. She didn't. The flight attendant turns, the power she wielded now slipping through her fingers. Her authority depends on silence, and silence is cracking. The mother looks ahead, her reflection trembling in the window, clouds sliding beneath them. Every mile closer to landing feels heavier, like justice itself is waiting on the runway. The captain's voice returns. Cabin crew, prepare for descent. The attendant avoids her eyes now, pretending to check seatbelts, avoiding the mirror of her own guilt. The mother whispers, almost to herself. Let them record everything. The truth doesn't need permission to land. The descent begins, but no one's thinking about landing. The cabin feels like a pressure cooker, silence so thick it hums. The mother adjusts her baby's blanket, her movements slow and deliberate. Across the aisle, eyes flick between her and the attendant, as if watching a match where one player's already bleeding but refuses to fall. The attendant's composure cracks. She forces a smile that trembles at the edges. Would anyone like another drink? No one answers. Not one hand raises. Her voice echoes awkwardly through the tension. The baby wakes and whimpers. The sound echoes down the aisle like an accusation. The mother rocks him gently. It's okay, sweetheart. Just a little longer? The attendant turns sharply. Ma'am, control your child. People are uncomfortable. This time, the words don't land the same way. A man 2 rows up says, he's a baby, not a disturbance. The attendant blinks, shocked someone actually spoke. She laughs nervously. Sir, please mind your own. Mind yours, he snaps back. The words hang heavy, but the room exhales. For the first time, someone else has drawn the line. The mother doesn't look up. She just hums softly, eyes closed, letting her child's breathing sync with her own. Her peace feels louder than any insult. It's the kind of calm that makes cruel people afraid. The attendant's voice rises again, brittle now. Captain, I need assistance. But the intercom stays silent. The crew knows better now. The balance is shifting. The passengers watch her unravel, the fake confidence leaking through her tone. She fumbles a cup, spilling soda on her glove. A murmur ripples through the cabin. Not pity, not concern, just quiet karma. The mother finally speaks. You've had your turn. Let him sleep now. The attendant stops cold, mouth open but no words forming. It's not a threat. It's not a plea. It's command. Quiet, clean, absolute. The baby sighs softly, asleep again. And for a moment, peace settles, fragile, fleeting. Then a click. Someone's phone flash goes off accidentally. The attendant whirls around, snapping, Who's recording again? No one answers. Because everyone is. Screens glow faintly in the dim cabin light, each one holding her cruelty in pixels she'll never erase. The mother doesn't need to say a word. The proof is already airborne. The intercom buzzes. Cabin crew, please take your seats for final landing. The attendant sits, face pale, jaw locked tight. The mother looks out the window. The clouds part below, the city lights glimmering like judgment waiting to meet her. A teenage girl whispers from the back. She's gonna get fired for this. But the man beside her shakes his head. This isn't about one woman. It's about all of them who think they can get away with it. The baby shifts again, cooing softly, unaware that his mother's silence has already started something much bigger. Every passenger feels it, the invisible current of justice waiting just below the clouds. As the wheels lower and the cabin shakes, the mother tightens her grip around her son. Her whisper blends with the roar of dissent. They think it ends when we land. The tires hit the runway. The plane jolts. The attendant flinches. The mother doesn't, because she knows this landing is just the beginning. The plane stops with a hiss of brakes, metal trembling like it knows what it's carrying. Guilt, truth, and one woman who's done being quiet. The passengers stay seated, waiting for something to happen. No one reaches for their bags yet. The air feels too heavy to move through. The captain's voice comes over the intercom, calm but clipped. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We have a minor situation to address before deboarding. A minor situation. That's what they call it. The mother lets out a slow breath, rubbing her baby's back. It's okay, sweetheart, she whispers. We'll be on the ground soon. The flight attendant stands near the front, her posture rigid, her eyes sharp as knives aimed down the aisle. She waits for authority to arrive, for the security she summoned to make her cruelty official. A ground officer steps in, expression tight. Seat 17C, murmurs break out. The mother raises her hand calmly. That's me. He hesitates, not expecting composure. Ma'am, I've been told you created a disturbance. Her brow arches, voice even. Did the report include that I asked for water for my infant? The attendant cuts in quickly. Sir, she was verbally aggressive. The entire cabin? Enough, the officer says quietly, glancing at the rows of watching eyes and half-hidden phones. He knows this isn't just a disruption. It's something that will be replayed 1,000 times by morning. The mother shifts her baby to the other arm, slow and deliberate. Before we continue, she says, I'd like to provide my name for the record. The officer nods, lifting his clipboard. Of course, ma'am, her gaze doesn't waver. Amara Cole. The name drops like a thunderclap. A woman near the front gasps. The businessman blinks in shock. That's Amara Cole? He whispers. The flight attendant frowns, confused. Who? The passenger replies softly. Civil rights attorney. She's the one who sued the Boston Transit Authority last year, and won. The attendant's smile fades for the first time. Amara doesn't move, doesn't smirk, just watches her. I didn't want to bring work onto a plane, she says. But since you filed an accusation, I'll respond through proper channels. The officer's pen pauses mid-air. Ma'am, are you that Amara Cole? I am, she says simply. And before you take another step, I suggest you contact your legal department. A stunned silence swallows the cabin. Every passenger is frozen, part disbelief, part satisfaction. The woman who'd been humiliated for asking for water just flipped the script without raising her voice. The attendant tries to laugh it off. Oh, this is ridiculous. You can't threaten me with... I'm not threatening, Amara interrupts softly. I'm informing you. Every minute since you denied me service, I've been documenting your conduct under Section 401 of the Civil Aviation Anti-Discrimination Act. The officer clears his throat, clearly torn between his protocol and self-preservation. Ma'am, I think it would be best if we discuss this off the plane. Amara nods. Of course. My attorney will meet us there. The flight attendant flinches. You are an attorney. I'm also a mother, Amara replies, rising from her seat. And that's the part you should have respected first. She walks down the aisle, slow, graceful, the kind of calm that comes from power earned, not given. Passengers watch her go, some lowering their eyes in shame, others clapping softly despite themselves. The attendant stays frozen, her authority dissolved mid-air, her confidence slipping like spilled soda down her glove. Amara stops by her as she passes. You were right, she says quietly. I won't get special treatment. I'll make sure everyone does. The attendant opens her mouth, but no sound comes out. Outside, the flashing lights of airport security reflect on the window, red, blue and judgmental. As Amara steps off the plane, the ground itself feels different beneath her feet. Steady, certain, ready. The storm has landed, and the tremors have just begun. The conference room smells of coffee and panic. 3 executives sit across from Amara, polished smiles, trembling hands. Behind them, the airline's logo glows faintly on the frosted glass, like a brand trying to hide its own reflection. The HR director clears her throat. Ms. Cole, first let us say how deeply sorry we are for this. Unfortunate misunderstanding. Amara doesn't blink. Misunderstanding? She repeats softly. That's what you call public humiliation? The director shifts uncomfortably. Our flight attendant reports you were uncooperative and confrontational. These situations can escalate quickly, especially when emotions... Amara cuts in, her voice low but razor sharp. You mean the emotion of thirst? Or the emotion of being denied basic dignity because of skin color? Silence. The legal advisor flips through his folder, stalling, pretending to read. Amara watches him. You don't need to look for words that make racism sound like a scheduling error. He looks up, flustered. Ms. Cole, the company's willing to issue a public apology and offer you compensation. Compensation, she echoes. How generous. What are you offering? A voucher for another flight? The HR director forces a nervous laugh. Perhaps a goodwill settlement? Something symbolic. Amara leans forward. Symbolic is what I was when she denied me water, a symbol of what your culture still tolerates. Her tone doesn't rise, but the room seems smaller now. The executives shift in their seats, glancing toward one another for help that doesn't come. She continues, each word deliberate. You don't need to apologize to me. You need to apologize to every passenger who sat in silence, to every child who watched and learned how cruelty sounds when it wears a uniform. The room goes still. Even the air conditioner hum sounds guilty. The HR director sighs. Ms. Cole will release a statement. We'll suspend the employee involved. I hope that... No, Amara says, interrupting quietly. Suspending her protects you, not me. This isn't about one person. It's about the system that made her feel safe enough to act that way. The legal advisor's voice shakes slightly. And what exactly do you want, Ms. Cole? Amara takes out her phone and sets it on the table. The red light blinks. Recording. What I want, she says, is transparency. The word lands heavy. She presses play. The executives freeze as the flight recording fills the room, the attendant's voice echoing, next time, fly with a company that serves your kind. And every syllable burns through the fake politeness like acid. The PR manager's face drains of color. Where did you... Passengers recorded it. It's already online, Amara says. I suggest you open your phones. You're trending under Dr. Water and Worth. The HR director's hand shakes as she checks her notifications. The room floods with the cold light of realization. Comments, shares, outrage. Their crisis has gone viral. Amara stands, straightens her blazer, adjusts her baby's photo charm hanging from her bag. I didn't come for money, she says softly. I came to see how deep your silence runs. The HR director rises too, her voice cracking. We'll fix this, Miss Cole. We'll make this right. Amara gives her a long look, not cruel, but tired. Don't make it right for me. Make it impossible for the next woman to go through it. She walks toward the door. The legal advisor calls after her, desperate. Are you planning to pursue legal action? Amara stops, turns. You've spent years teaching people like her that accountability never lands. I'm just here to bring the plane down safely. She leaves. The door shuts with a quiet thud, but it sounds like a verdict. Behind her, the executives sit frozen, staring at the logo on the wall. The one that once symbolized pride now looking more like guilt. Outside, Amara exhales. The city buzzes below, unaware that its next headline just walked past the revolving doors. Her phone vibrates. Message after message, videos, statements, a storm brewing faster than they can contain it. She opens one. Clip. Her own calm face mid-flight, her baby asleep, the world watching injustice unfold in real time. And for the first time since takeoff, she allows herself to smile. The game has begun. The world's eyes are now on the airline. Social media burns like wildfire. Every platform is flooded with hashtags. Water Andworth, Fly with Respect, Justice for Amara. News channels replay the incident in loops. Commentators argue, influencers cry, and public outrage morphs into movement. But what no one knows yet, there's another angle. A passenger sitting 2 rows behind Amara had secretly recorded the entire confrontation, including the part the airline edited out before issuing their official statement. The airline's PR team rushes to contain the damage, claiming the video is incomplete. They release a cropped version that conveniently ends before the racist comment. It backfires spectacularly. One journalist from a major outlet, a young black reporter named Jade Lewis, smells the lie. She finds the passenger with the uncut footage. That night, Jade uploads the full video, unfiltered, unedited, unbreakable. Amara's calm defiance becomes the symbol of modern resistance. The flight attendants sneer, the silence of other passengers. The captain's indifference, every second now immortalized in digital truth. Within hours, the clip hits 12 million views. The airline's CEO, Richard Hale, a white man known for his diversity speeches, calls an emergency press conference. His PR advisors beg him to sound human, not corporate. He rehearses lines in front of a mirror. We deeply regret. We are listening. We are learning. But when he steps on stage, under flashing cameras, his mask cracks. Reporters swarm. Him. Why was the passenger denied water? Why was the staffer only suspended after public backlash? Why did your official statement omit racial slurs? He stammers. We didn't want to inflame tensions. A journalist fires back. So you preferred to hide racism instead? The live broadcast captures his faltering smile the moment the entire nation sees guilt disguised as damage control. Meanwhile, Amara sits in her apartment, her baby asleep in her lap, watching the conference. Her phone vibrates. A call from Jade. Amara, it's happening. They can't hide anymore. Amara exhales. Good. But this isn't the end. Not until we rebuild what they broke. As she speaks, the comments section under the live stream explodes. She didn't ask for war. She asked for water. You denied her humanity. Now she owns your headlines. This is bigger than one flight. The story transcends news. It becomes a movement. Airlines, corporations, and governments issue new statements, promising cultural sensitivity training, the modern Band-Aid for deep wounds. But Amara's silence is louder than their slogans. She refuses interviews. No press tours, just a quiet purpose. In her inbox, dozens of whistleblowers send her internal emails, flight attendants, staff, even managers, revealing years of discrimination cases buried, ignored, or settled quietly. She realizes this isn't about one plane, it's about an entire sky built on inequality, and she's done flying under their rules. The internet has chosen sides. Half the world is furious, the other half defensive. On talk shows, strangers argue about tone and context, pretending civility while dissecting a mother's humiliation for ratings. One commentator sneers, maybe she overreacted. It was just water. Another slams her fist on the table. It's never just water when you're black. Clips of their debate flood Amara's feed, but she doesn't respond. Instead, she scrolls through hundreds of messages, some hateful, some heartbreaking. A single mother from Atlanta writes, I was thrown off a flight for breastfeeding. They said it made people uncomfortable. A pilot whispers anonymously, we all know the bias. We just can't say it out loud. The more she reads, the heavier it feels, until one message catches her eye. It's from Victor Lane, a quietly powerful investor known for dismantling corrupt corporations. "You don't know me, but I've seen what you did. Let's talk. You have more leverage than you think." Amara hesitates. Another viral moment could crush her, but something in Victor's words feels different. Not opportunistic, but strategic. That night, she meets him in a downtown cafe. Dim lights, no press. Victor sits calm, his suit immaculate, his tone deliberate. "They silenced you. Then the world gave you a microphone. Use it." "To do what? Sue them? They'll drag it for years." "No, buy them." Amara almost laughs. "Buy the airline? You realize how insane that sounds?" "Insane is them thinking they can humiliate you and survive it. You have the people, I have the capital. Let's build an offer they can't ignore." Her silence lingers, the kind that feels like the air before lightning. Days turn into a blur of negotiations and headlines. The airline's stock plummets 28% after leaked documents expose internal bias complaints. Investors panic. Sponsors withdraw. Victor and Amara move quietly, acquiring shares through subsidiaries piece by piece, while the board scrambles to manage public image. On the surface, it looks like corporate chaos. Behind the scenes, it's a silent takeover. A month later, during a press call meant to reassure investors, Richard Hale reads a statement. "We're pleased to announce a minority acquisition by a private equity group." He freezes mid-sentence when he reads the final line on the paper, led by Amara Collins. The room erupts. Reporters shout. Flashbulbs explode. Hale's hand trembles as the truth sinks in. Amara has done what no one thought possible, turned the insult into ownership. That night, Victor calls her again. "You did it. You own the sky they said wasn't yours." Amara's voice is steady, low, controlled. "No, Victor. I just made sure no one else flies thirsty." Outside, the city hums under the glow of screens replaying her victory. People cheer. Some scoff. But none look away. The world has divided, but her silence has united the truth. The boardroom is a glass cage suspended high above the city, the kind of room where power once lived untouched. But today it trembles. Executives whisper in low tones, eyes darting toward the woman seated at the head of the table. Amara Collins, the new majority owner of Skyline Air, the same airline that denied her water, the same one that denied her humanity. Now she owns the oxygen in their lungs. Richard Hale sits 3 chairs down, face drained, fingers twitching against his pen. His voice breaks the silence first. "Let's be clear. This merger isn't personal." Amara turns her gaze toward him, cold, controlled. "It became personal the moment you looked away while your employee degraded a mother in front of her child." The room stiffens. An HR director clears her throat. We've initiated new training programs, Mrs. Collins." "Training?" Amara's voice cuts through the air. "You can't train empathy from a slideshow." A pause follows, long enough for shame to sink in. Victor Lane, calm as ever, slides a document across the table. "This," he says, "is the restructuring plan. Step 1, executive accountability." The board members exchange worried glances. Each page outlines terminations, salary cuts, and a full diversity overhaul that ends with one bold clause. Richard Hale, removed as CEO, effective immediately. Hale slams the table. "You can't do this." "I built this company!" Amara stands slowly. "You built it on silence." And silence doesn't fly anymore. The sound of her words hangs heavy, echoing across marble and glass. A vote follows. Quick, brutal, unanimous. Hale's hands tremble as security escorts him out, his ID badge clattering onto the table. Outside, cameras wait. The world watches in real time as the man once worshipped for his power is walked out by his own guards. A reporter shouts, "Amara! What do you say to those who claim this was revenge?" She stops at the exit, turns to the flashing lights. Revenge fades. Accountability doesn't. The clip goes viral in minutes, but the story doesn't end there. Amara walks back into the boardroom, surrounded by silence and stunned faces. She opens her folder. A proposal, simple and sharp. "We rename the airline," she says. "To what?" asks one of the older members. She looks out the window toward the endless stretch of sky. "Unity Air, because no one should ever feel small at 30,000 feet. Some smile. Some choke back emotion. But in that moment, even the air feels different. Because this isn't the story of a victim who fought back. It's the story of a mother who rewrote the rules mid-flight. Months later, the world looks up. Literally. Across airports, terminals, and the open sky, a new name gleams on the fuselages of freshly painted planes. Unity Air. The first flight takes off from Atlanta, the same city where Amara once stood humiliated on a runway, holding her crying baby and a bottle of untouched water. Now she stands before a cheering crowd, executives, journalists, families, holding her daughter's hand. The announcer's voice trembles with emotion. Today marks the beginning of something bigger than business. It marks the rewriting of skies. Applause rolls through the terminal, but Amara doesn't smile for the cameras. She looks at the flight attendants lined up before her. Diverse faces, nervous but proud. One young woman, clearly new, whispers, "Ma'am, I saw that video when I was in training. I promised myself I'd never be that silent." Amara nods. "Then you've already changed the world." As passengers board, a little boy tugs at her sleeve, brown-skinned, bright-eyed. "Are you the lady who made them say sorry?" She kneels down, smiles softly. "No, sweetheart. I just made them listen." The boy grins, his mother mouthing "thank you" before walking away. For a fleeting second, Amara feels the weight of everything. The hate, the humiliation, the courage it took not to scream but to stand. Victor joins her at the window as the plane taxis forward. "You realize," he says quietly, "that every time one of these takes off, it's proof you were right." "No," Amara replies, watching the engines roar. "It's proof that silence can rise if it dares to speak once." The aircraft lifts into the sky, sunlight breaking over its wings like forgiveness. And on its body, below the name Unity Air, small golden letters shimmer. Water, worth, dignity. The crowd erupts. Cameras flash. But for Amara, it's just quiet inside, peace after a storm too long fought. Later that night, she walks into her office. Not grand, just grounded. The walls are lined with letters from passengers, crew members, strangers, stories of racism, silence, resilience. Each one proof that her fight was never just hers. She picks up a glass of water from her desk, holds it under the light, the same gesture that started everything. To the mothers who were denied, and the ones who refused to stop asking, she drinks, a small act that feels like victory. Then, as if speaking to the unseen millions still watching, her voice carries, soft but powerful. If one moment of silence can rewrite the sky, imagine what millions can do together. Subscribe, not for me, but for every story that still deserves to be heard. The music swells, warm and resolute. The screen fades on the rising plane, Unity Air, cutting through clouds as the world below begins to listen.